first thing, stick it in the fridge, drink it later.
And with this conversation about who's got what gin arriving, we're starting. So, good evening. No, excellent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this, our third Christmas Fantasia workshop. Couple of announcements before we get into our warm-up. If you haven't already, please do join our Facebook group and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The details on that are below. I want to start now plugging our concert for this Christmas Fantasia, which will take place from St. John Smith Square on December the 21st. Now, if you are in London on the 21st, we are able to have an audience for that concert, and tickets are on sale through the St. John's Smith Square box office. Details for that are below. And we'll also be streaming that concert. And if you would please, if you haven't already, sign up for our mailing list via the core.app website, and then we will send you information out on how to purchase tickets for the live stream for that night. And I'm also able to tell you that as of last week, we now know that our soloists for that concert include Roderick Williams and Mary Bevan. So I'm very excited to have those two wonderful singers joining us for that concert. So one of the pieces that we will be looking at this evening, or starting to look at, is the Vaughan Williams Fantasia on Christmas Carols, and both of those wonderful singers will be our soloists in that piece. Okay, I think that's all the announcements I have, so let me reintroduce you to my wonderful colleagues with me tonight. Again, we've got Miriam as our soprano, and Hannah, our mezzo-soprano. Ed is our glorious tenor. And a new face for our bass. We have Robert Davies joining us tonight with bass. Wonderful. And hidden at the back, although we can never really hide Caroline. Caroline, again, as our pianist. So, I'm going to step out of the way because there's a very, very, very long thought out warm-up to be taken here. Over to you, Miriam.
Thank you, Simon. Just because it's written on the back of a petrol receipt doesn't mean anything other than quality. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with some humming. It's a lovely way of warming up. Whether you do open-mouthed hums like like a siren sound, or whether you do closed-mouth hums, they're great because they make your vocal cords meet together really perfectly. If you're recovering from a cold or, God forbid, from COVID, you will find that your voice may be not quite where you expect it to be, and you're thinking, oh, do I go to choir practice? Do I not go to choir practice? Having a quick hum will probably reveal whether or not you should be attending. So we're going to start with descending fifths. So if we could start in C major, please. And we're just going to go... And instead of thinking 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, very individual notes, we're going to think very much about going from the dominant, from the fifth that we're going to start on, all the way back down to the tonic, the home of the key, and we're going to try and do that as smoothly as we can. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. Good. Breathe in. Ready, and another one, and. All the way to the end, and this is our last one descending. Super. So I've asked Caroline to start us with some descending patterns today, because for a lot of us, we're not always working in our extreme comfort zones. So some of these pieces I find very, very low, and some of them are very, very high for some other singers. So what I wanted us to do is try to get in and out of our lower voices by always doing descending patterns for this warm-up today. It's not always the easiest thing to do. You might find that your voice works better in the lower voice or maybe in the higher voice, and to marry those two voices together doesn't always feel successful. So using descending patterns rather than always using ascending patterns can be a really useful way of doing that. So what we're going to do now is take that hum into a lovely R. And I want you to think about the shape of your mouth as you do. So I don't want it to go out to the side, but very much lovely tall vowel. So we're going to hum the first two. 5, 4 are going to be on a hum, and then 3, 2, 1 are going to be in an open R sound. Can we start maybe a little bit going? Yeah, exactly. We're going to go up a little bit. Thank you. So we're going to start here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 and 4 on hum. 2, 3, and. Ready, and. Now, E is the vowel that everyone wants to pull to the side. And I know you're all very smiley, and I'm very smiley and Australian, but that doesn't mean we're all going to go sideways. Thank you, Bob. And we're going to keep this very smiley, but very, very tall, rather than making a thin, pinched E sound. Lovely tall E. So same game again. 5 and 4 are going to be on the hum, and then 3, 2 and 1 on the E sound, but keeping a lovely neutral mouth shape. Can we start in F, mate? Thank you. 2, 3, and ready, and shape of the mouth. Take the breath. 3, and ready, and no pinching. 3, and super. So why do people count you in? Simon does it all the time when we're rehearsing. Why do people count you in? The obvious one obviously is to give you the tempo. But I am on a mission to make this the catchphrase of every choir director. Pay attention. Rests are opportunities. Okay, that wasn't the reaction I was looking for. Rests are opportunities. Thank you, Esther. Rests are opportunities. Yay! Rests are opportunities for you to be ready for the phrase that's coming. Rests are not opportunities for you to go, oh my God, I can't count. We'll just leave that to the sopranos. And rests are opportunities for you to breathe and be ready. So as we go through these next exercises, when I say take the breath, or you go 3, 4, whatever Simon's giving you to count in when we're counting in 5, make sure you use the count in as your opportunity to be prepared for what's coming. The counting in is not there to confuse you, I promise. That's just an extra special conductor bonus. The count in is there to help you be prepared for what's coming, to know the tempo and to take an adequate breath. Breathing out is one thing, and I know those of you who've been participating in the workshops I've done in the last couple of weeks will know I'm all about the breathing out. But you can't breathe out well if you haven't taken a great breath in, and you won't be able to breathe in well if you haven't been breathing out well. The two are absolutely connected. So as we go through these next exercises, whenever someone's counting you in, think, this is my opportunity. Yay. No, I'm still not really selling it. Okay, it's your opportunity to be ready for the next raise. So we're going to keep going down. We're going to go da 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 da. We're going down in thirds. Can we put a ya in front of that R vowel we just had? Ya, 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 ya. So keeping that lovely tall shape that we had, mouth shape really neutral, and then we're going to add a ya in front of it. Ya, 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 ya. Where am I then? 2 and 3 and ya, 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 ya. Rest are opportunities. Ya, 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 ya. 3, 4. Complicated. The ya is to keep your tongue in a consistent position. We want to kind of build a concert hall in our mouth. We want everything to be its most fantastically resonant all the time. And we don't want one vowel to be weaker than the others. We want to make our voice really consistently resonant. So we're now going to add yeah, like yeah, mum, I'll do it later. So we're going to go ya and yeah. So ya, yeah, ya, yeah, ya. We're going to keep the mouth shape the same. And we're going to put the ya in front of each of those vowels to keep the tongue position the same. So we're building this beautiful architecture, this wonderful space that's going to be really resonant. Can we start in the S major this time? Ya, 2 and 3 and ya. Ya, yeah, ya, yeah, ya. Opportunity to breathe. Ya, yeah, ya, yeah, ya. Take the breath, ready, and breathe out. Ya, yeah, ya, yeah, ya. Mouth shape. Another vowel. So we're going to have ye, as in, oh ye of little faith. Yeah, as in, yeah, mum, I'll do it later. And ja, as in the German or Dutch word for yes. So we're going to start with the pingiest one, with the ye, where remember we're keeping that really neutral mouth shape. Ye, yeah, ya, yeah. ye. So ye, yeah, ye, back the way you came. Exactly the same idea. Mouth shape stays the same. The y is going to be in front of each one to keep the tongue position the same, and you're going to use your opportunity to take a lovely breath in. Can we start this time in G? Yeah. Ye, yeah, ye. So ye, yeah, ye. Ready? 3 and 4. Ye. Take the breath. Ready? Breathe out. You're all so very clever. We're going to add 2 more vowels. We're going to add o and oo. So we're going to go ye, yeah, ya, as we have been, yo and you. And you've got to notice that for yo and you, your lips are going to come forward. But we're going to keep that same shape. We're not going to suddenly spread out to the side. We're not going to do anything funny with our jaw. We're just going to move our lips forward. Ye, ya, 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 you. And we're going to start in A major this time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1, 2, take the breath and go. Yeah. Use the opportunity to breathe. Same mouth shape. Take the breath and breathe out.
To go much further than the home counties to get ya.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Now, got all those vowels perfectly placed. Let's put them to some good use. Let's go to I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. Last week we looked at the first 3 verses, so I think we got down to page 4, bar 33. So I suggest we start by singing that much, and then we'll look at the second half of the carol. Okay.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, there all familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth goodwill to men, and thought as the day had come, the reveries all grace and none, and rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth goodwill to men. Ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day. Such
Lovely. Good. I think that's as far as we got last week. So let's move on then from each black accursed mouth. So it starts off very, very similar. We're all singing the same notes, but then at the 3-4 bar, the last bar of that page, that's when we divide out. So let's just do from each black accursed mouth, and we'll start from the top and go down. So let's have the sopranos first. Here's your B. 3, 4.
And from each black accursed mouth.
Lovely. Altos. 3, 4.
Then from each black accursed mouth.
Let's take that one again. That's a little tricky there. 3, 4.
Then from each black accursed mouth.
Fabulous. Sopranos and altos, please. 3, 4.
Then from each black accursed mouth.
Tenors, let's have your line. Actually, tenors and basses, it's the same all the way through. So let's do tenors and basses. 3, 4.
Then from each black accursed mouth.
Everybody, please. 3, 4.
Then from each black accursed mouth.
Let's continue on with the basses, please. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Let's just do that much. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Tenors, please. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Tenors and basses. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Altos. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Sopranos. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Sopranos and altos. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Everybody, let's take that much. 3, 4.
The cannon thundered in the south.
Very nice. Just lovely chords here, but quite complex, really, if you're not used to these sorts of harmonies. Let's go back and do then from each black accursed mouth, the previous part of this phrase. 3, 4.
Then from each black accursed mouth, the cannon thundered in the south.
Sopranos, let's go on. Let's take this right the way through to Goodwill to Men. So this is, we'll go through to 47. 3, 4.
And with the sound that carols round, of peace on earth goodwill to men.
Yeah, so we've got 2, 3, 2 bars in there to pay attention to. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 to get through that one. Okay? Let's take the altos, please. 3, 4.
And with the sound the carols drowned, of peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Sopranos and altos. 3, 4.
And with the sound the carols round, of peace on earth goodwill to men.
Let's take the tenor line, please. 3, 4.
And with the sound the carols drowned, of peace on earth goodwill to men.
Basses, please. 3, 4.
And with the sound the carols drowned, of peace on earth goodwill to men.
Tenors and basses. Let's see that, please. 3, 4.
And with the sound the carols drowned, of peace
And with this, everybody please. Everybody. 3, 4.
And with the sound thy carols drowned of peace on earth good will to men.
Fabulous. Why don't you take all of that verse, please? So this is bar 33 at the bottom of page 4. Okay? 3, 4.
And from each black accursed mouth thy cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound thy carols drowned of peace on earth goodwill to men.
Okay, let's build this one up. So we've got to have a very nice supported, it might be pianissimo their basses, but it's got to be well supported, and also enough breath for a multi crescendo, yes?
Yeah.
So let's do both of those things. Yes? Support and crescendo. 3, 4.
It was as if an earthquake rent the sons of a continent.
Off. Okay, lovely. Tenors, your line, please. 3, 4.
It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of the continent.
Tenors and basses. 3, 4.
It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of the continent.
Fabulous. Altos, please. 3, 4.
It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of the continent.
Lovely. Sopranos. 3, 4.
It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of the continent.
So let's have sopranos and altos, leading towards that fabulous D sharp E clash at the end of that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's try this. 3, 4.
It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of the continent.
So that's one of those places where we were talking about vibrato or non-vibrato. We want to use as little as possible there, don't we, to make sure that it is as tuneful a clash. And also that you're not trying to, the other thing that you might want to do if you're not confident on that note is try and pull it into a nice harmonic relationship rather than a clash there, and something that's concordant, not discordant. Let's take everybody, please. Let's start even quieter this time. Really, really, really pianissimo and a massive crescendo. 3.
It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of the continent.
Good. Let's take, now I've got a tricky one here, basses, in that you've got, all of a sudden we've got D, da, D, they're still going on for the altos and the tenors. 1, 2, and 3, 1, da, 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 da. So we've got this 2 against 3. Let's bring the basses in last. Let's get, yeah. And then we'll talk about ways in which we might practice that. Can we have the tenors first? Just going for, we'll just go and made forlorn. We'll just go through to the D sharp on the next one.
Okay.
Just the tenors. 1, 2, 3.
And made forlorn.
Okay. And let's take the altos, please. Your mate forlorn there, please. 3, 4.
And made forlorn.
Okay. Bum, bum, ba, da, dum, da, da, dum. Now, basses, what I'd like you to do is sing, don't worry about the second notes in this yet. You're just going to sing and on B, made on A, and 4 on F sharp, and lawn on D sharp. Yeah? So we're just going to get it on the same beats as the other voices are. Okay? Just the basses. Okay? And I can't think how many, that's 4, 5, isn't it? 4, 5.
And made forlorn.
And again. 2 beats in. And
made forlorn.
ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba. So now we're going to try and separate that out, putting in the G's and the E's. Now let's just try that. 2 beats in. 1, 2.
And made forlorn.
And slightly behind again. 1 and
made forlorn.
not bad at all. Let's take everybody, please. 2 beats in. 1, 2.
And made forlorn.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. It's always nice when we've got leadership like that. So, so we gets through to forlorn. Let's take the basses now. We're going to go through to Goodwill to Men in bar 64. So this is the Households Born at bar 57. 2, 3. Now, this is the opposite way round. It's a 2 and a 3. Again, let's try it again. 3, 4. 1 and... So 4, 2, okay, on that bar. So 4 minims in that bar. Can we take the tenors, please? The Households Born. 3, 4.
The households born.
Good thing I'd practiced steel lung, isn't it?
Absolutely. And how are you thinking about placing that sound, the N?
Yeah, it looks like it wants to be placed on bar 63, so I did it a bit early. But sort of, yeah, gradually closed, just sort of a diphthong on the way to N, I guess.
And what's happening in your mouth when you're getting...
It just gets more and more closed, and then just sort of let the N slide in, sort of very...
But I'm assuming the tongue is still staying out of the way. We're not doing and sticking the
No.
tip of the tongue up.
More just into a hum, yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Can we take the tenors and basses there, please, that much? 2, 3. Lovely. Let's take the altos there, please. 2, 3.
Households born, of peace on earth, goodwill to men.
And the sopranos, please. 3, 4. Everybody, please. The Households Born. 2, 3.
Households born, of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Goodwill to men.
Super. I think we should run into that verse from "And Made For." Actually, no. Let's go from the beginning of that. Let's do the whole of that one from 748. It was as if an earthquake went. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
It was as if an earthquake went. The heart of the continent, and made forlorn the house was born. Peace on earth, goodwill, peace on earth, goodwill, of peace on earth, goodwill to men, goodwill to men.
Now we've got more humming to learn here.
Simon,
Yes.
can I
Sorry.
just make a tiny interjection
Yeah,
just to
go
say never was there more of an opportunity in a crotchet rest than for the altos in bar 55, because you're right up at the top of your range, giving it all you've got, and then you've got one crotchet rest to get right back down and come in with a beautiful controlled piano that's got to last you quite a long time. So that is absolutely Miriam's
Rests are opportunity.
rest as an
Thank
opportunity
you, Hannah.
right
Chips
there.
in the mail.
And yet you really need to be ready for a rest like that, otherwise there's going to be a disaster over the page, or before over the page.
So above, what's that? Bar 55. You were talking about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So opportunity for rest in that rest. Thank you very much. Do you want to continue? Let's look at the hum, shall we? Shall we not make them pianissimo to begin with, so we get a nice hum sound? If you'd like to talk about humming and umming. And also, he's written 2 M's there rather than 2 N's. Does it mean he wants it to be further forward in the mouth as a sound?
Well, I think it's a closed mouth hum as opposed to an open mouthed hum. And what I think Ed was describing before was still vaguely open, just closing down. Whereas this, I think, is very much closed mouth as opposed to when your mouth is still ever so slightly open.
So how do we make that nice and resonant and not just turning into a sort of throaty growl?
Well, it's still about breath moving. Of course, it's about breathing out. What else am I going to say? Of course, it's about breathing out. But it's also about not being like pinched with the jaw. If you're and you're kind of biting the hum, then it's just going to be a bucket of tension and it's going to be horrible. But if you're thinking about the fact that this is still a phrase, even though it's hummed and it's very quiet, it's still a phrase and it's got to have a direction. Long notes always need a job. And whatever the job is in this particular situation, for tenors and altos, it looks to me like you've got the passing notes. And the job is to get to the end of the phrase, like any other musical phrase, without being too tense and without being unaware that you've got a destination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not about clamping. It's almost
Yeah,
as if you imagine going ooh, like ooh, and then just close your lips gently.
Keeping the space inside the mouth, keeping the space at the back, and just closing the lips in front.
Exactly.
Well, where are we focusing that vibration though? Are we focusing it onto the teeth? Or are we focusing it up?
More lips, is it?
I think it's sort of in the lips, but the lips have just closed. They're
Yeah.
they're just touching rather than
You're not passing
clamping.
down.
Yeah.
And I think often people kind of
Yeah.
make like a bumblebee and kind of. But no, I think like practicing going oh, just make some really nice relaxed sound and then just gently close the lips and you'll find you've still got the space in the mouth to make
Exactly.
you're still singing. You've just got your mouth shut basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not clenched
not-
shut.
no.
That's just- yeah. Okay. There's still an opportunity for Indiana Jones to slip out there through those. Grab his hat. Okay, let's take the basses and the tenors, please. This is bar 65. And we're in 4-2 again. Okay? 4 and.
You need a choir.
4-2 going into a 6-4. Okay? So here we go. 4 and. 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Lovely. Let's take the altos and the sopranos, the same thing. 4 and. Everybody, please. 4 and. Good. And I hope you're doing your humming and not just singing the lovely tune there. I've got some messages. Okay. Excellent. Let's do For Hate is Strong and Mocks the Song. Let's do the sopranos, please. Okay. 2 beats in.
For hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men.
And then a big general pause after that. Altos, please. 2 beats in.
For hate is strong and mocks the song, peace on earth, goodwill to men.
And the tenors, please.
For hate is strong and mocks the song, peace on earth, goodwill to men.
And the basses.
For hate is strong and mocks the song, peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Everybody, please.
For hate is strong and mocks the song, peace on earth, goodwill to men.
And the last verse. So everybody has the pealed the bell, then pealed the bells more loud. So we start off and then separate again into harmonies by the 3rd bar there. So let's take the basses. 1, 2, 3.
Then peal the bells more loud and deep.
Going on. 1, 2, and.
God is not dead, nor doth he sleep.
1, 2, off. Tenors, please. 1, 2, 3.
Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep.
Tenors and basses. 2, 3.
Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep.
Altos, please. 2, 3.
Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep.
Fabulous. And the sopranos. 2, 3.
Then pealed
Sopranos and altos, please. 2, 3.
Then bid the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth his earthly sleep.
Everybody, please. 2, 3.
Then bid the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth his earthly sleep.
Lovely. Let's look at the last page, please. Sopranos, please. Let's take you right the way through to the end of this page. 2, 3.
The wrong shall feel the right's prayer. With peace on earth, goodwill, with peace on earth, goodwill to
Thoughts on preparing for that prevail? I mean, everybody else is singing Veil. So,
I'm not a great one for covering vowels, but I think the trick to always having the breath and the sound and the resonance you want comes from the note before. So rather than trying to suddenly find, I'm pretty sure it's the same for tenor Z, that you don't suddenly go, right, I'm going to switch it on now and hope that it all works. Because if you've not set it up, it will kind of just blurt out, and that's not the sound you want. Helpfully, the composer has put in a lovely crescendo, which is great. So as you start on the D, and unlike me, you'll probably take a breath before that, you're going to already be thinking, I know where I'm going, I know where my destination is, and I'm going to make sure that each note, I have the breath to go to the next note, to go to the next note, so that the A doesn't just suddenly leap out and blurt out.
Yeah.
So use the crescendo very much to take you there. Same for tennis?
Definitely.
excellent.
But you just have to be like on our entry. There's don't have the luxury of not
No.
just going. You just have to go
You do
for
have
it.
covering fire though.
Yeah, true.
We'll come to that entrance in a moment. Let's do the altos. Alto line. 3.
The wrong shall fail, the right prevail. With peace on earth, goodwill to men. With peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Fabulous. So yes, you need that rest to prepare for
Yeah.
the A. You take that as rest for rest part. Any other suggestions? I mean,
It's just good to have a sort of energized. I'm sort of struggling with that this evening a bit, but just to be just to be poised and ready and just go for it. Really.
now, does it help if we start a line before from nor doth?
Yeah, sure.
Just to,
Yeah.
because that also gives the tenors an opportunity to
Yeah.
relax enough and
Yeah.
position. And
But like Hannah said, I mean, it is still mezzo piano.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of
yeah.
Vanda as well. And
Yeah.
I mean, the sopranos and the altos
Yeah.
are on that
On the
note,
same
which
note.
is comfortably within the middle of the range. So sometimes it's good to be a hero. On this occasion, I would suggest the tenors could let the upper voices. It's still mezzo piano. It's not a we've got the tenors on it because we want to hear the full-blooded thing. So depending on what your range is comfortable with and all of that, I would say you can
and
use
also
your, use your judgment.
yes,
Yeah.
and also you don't want to that line to fail given the words that come.
So
So
there's a very long way to go from the
Yeah.
from the first tenor note through to prevail. That's where the end is.
yes,
If you start too loud too soon, you've got
Yeah.
nowhere to travel.
and it is going to carry for all those reasons. And the other thing I was going to say, in that 3/4 bar tenors, you can practice it in the same way as we practiced it with the basses. So wrong and shall, get those together, da da da, and then put in the passing notes between those. Let's take it tenors from nor doth, which is the last crotchet of bar 84. 1, 2, 3.
Nor doth he see.
Okay, and we've got to remember, I think I've done a writ every single time. Senza writ.
And is it strong to the
Don't
end?
follow me.
Are we strong to the end?
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing exactly the opposite.
Doesn't
of what
Yeah,
the composers asked
we've
for
done
between us,
exactly the
haven't we?
opposite. Yes. Senza writ and keep the dynamic.
Yeah.
Why don't we, before we put the bass into that, let's take... no, let's do the bass line. Let's do the bass line. The right prevail. 1, 2, 3.
The right prevail with peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Yeah. Onwards into the future with that, with the tempo. Let's take it, please, nor doth he sleep, through to the end. So this is the last crotchet above 84, rather. 1, 2, 3. Lovely. Okay, we'll sing all of that through at the end of tonight's workshop. But for now, let's turn please to the Fantasia on Christmas carols. I'll give you a moment to fire that up in your coal-fired Kindles or whatever you're reading it from, if you're using encoder. Quicker if you've got actual paper music in front of you. Now, whilst people are finding this, let's talk a little bit. We've talked about... Sorry. It's getting a bit chilly in here tonight, so we're waiting for the secondary glazing to be fitted in the studio. We did a coal-fired fireplace here. Let's talk about these humming tones. We've talked about the resonance and how to actually produce them, but one of the things we need to make a decision on as we go through this first section of the Vaughan Williams through to E is... They're all slightly different, or they all can be, can't they? So we want to give them appropriate colour and have them have appropriate presence. And I think some of them, the mouth is more open than others.
There's a differentiation made, isn't there, between closed lips and humming tone.
Yeah.
Is there only two?
Yeah.
Yeah. But even within that, depending upon whether we have very light or no orchestration beneath us, that also depends upon, I think, how even the humming tone is never fully closed.
What do you usually do?
So,
What do you usually do?
I think you normally have a really long discussion about it, and everyone has a different idea, and then you realise you're going and it sounds horrid.
I think depending on the range that you're in, you might want to use an open-mouthed hum for some of it. Like for the sops, when it goes to top Gs, top F sharps, on pages 2 and page 4, that you might find the closed mouth might be too much. It might be a little bit easier to manage. Still a humming tone.
Yeah.
And the other thing, if you look at D, the third bar of D in the tenor line, he then writes R.
Yeah.
In amongst that. So we've got to be careful that when it does come,
Doesn't stick out too much.
Well, no, it does.
Or does
It
stick
does a
out.
bit.
He's
Yeah,
made a point
you know,
of.
that we haven't been using that vowel too prevalently around it,
Yeah.
so that it actually is clear.
And even within the hum, there is phrasing and
Yeah.
there's flow and give and take and direction.
Absolutely.
My tuppence worth, from a conductor's point of view, is I would also bear in really shape it around where it's a cappella and where there's orchestra.
Yeah.
So if it starts slightly more open when the orchestra's beneath you, you can close it as the orchestra disappears, and then sort of open it up again so we never lose you. As far as the vowel is, go on.
I was just going to say, I think the PP is something that people see and immediately panic. because they think, oh my God, I've got to do it, and I've got to do it extremely quietly.
Yeah.
And actually, by writing humming tones and humming sounds instead, and closed lip sounds, instead of writing R's and O's, the implication is already that you've cut a huge amount of sound out. I wouldn't worry too much about it being too loud.
And as I've talked about with choirs I've worked with, and some of you out there have worked with me, we've done Victorian and Edwardian and 20th century choral music before. You also have to bear in mind that these dynamic markings are practical as well as creative. So if, as was often the case, Vaughan Williams is dealing with a choir of 100 or 200 or 300, when he says PP, he's actually hoping for piano, I think, in some cases. So I think, bearing that in mind as well in the context of what composers use. The most extreme being Verdi's markings for trombones in the operas, which go to 7 Ps in some cases. So they've never got the message.
Just out, in the wings.
They've never got the message. That you're too loud, trombone. And what was it, Richard Strauss said, never look at the trombones, it only encourages them.
Yes.
And that is official advice in his book on conducting. Okay, let's stop talking about this and start humming it. So what vowel are we going to start, or what shape are we going to? Somebody behind me give me a suggestion that we're going to use.
I'd be tempted to go for a slightly open mouth, almost closed ooh-ish sort of noise, which I think will give us the flexibility to open up a bit in the higher range if we need to, but we'll keep it nice and covered and gentle, hummy-ish. See if you like it.
Okay. Can we just have an A and just everybody sing so we have a sort of an agreement on what? Do you want to demonstrate?
So,
So just try that. One. Let's just actually take it on the held A. And. So I'm hearing slightly different things around me. Just again, please, if you could give it to us, Hannah. And. So that's the sound I want to hear all around. And. Fabulous, lovely. Let's take the bass line.
We're just saying we'll try it. It's the way to do it.
Lovely. Let's take the tenors and the basses. And tenors, notice there when it changes to the R, listen to Ed and how he changes from that sound that we're doing now and moves it towards an R. Okay?
Simon,
Yeah.
this might just be worth saying we're on page 2 at the moment.
There is one little
in
bit.
case there's confusion
Oh,
at the other end from anyone
Sorry.
wondering what we're doing.
yes, I started on the wrong page. Thank you. But page 1, let's start there. We've got so into the hums,
Yeah.
don't know where we are. Okay, apologies. So this is even easier. So the bass is, here's your bass line. And let's add to that the tenors. 2 and let's add the altos. And let's add the sopranos. Everybody now, please. 2, 3. Brilliant. Now let's go on to page 2. Tenors and basses, please. 2 and Let's have the altos, please. 2, 1, 2. And the sopranos. Let's just take the soprano line. 1, 2. Sopranos and altos, please. 1, 2. Everybody, please, from that part. 2, 3. Lovely. We'll look at that last bit. So I think I'm going to guess that a few of you lost your way after C with those sustained notes, which is, first of all, you need to mark in the beats, and I would suggest watch your conductor, whoever that may be, very, very carefully, and don't listen too much to the soloist, who has these very interesting rhythms going on there, and the conductor will be wanting to give the space for the soloist to have that, and wanting to make sure that the choir moves together. So you should be moving with the conductor, not with the soloist there. Yeah? We need to make sure that our humming platform is as steady as possible to give the soloist the freedom that they should have. Let's go on. So this is where we just got to, the humming tone, page 4. Okay? 2. Lovely. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful music, isn't it? Let's take the tenors and basses, please. Thus we were. Yeah. And I'll subdivide as I just did then for now, just to give you the regular quavers there. So this is going to be the 2 beats in, subdivided into quavers. So 1 and 2 and.
Thus we were to endless woes, till God the Lord did interpose, and so a promise soon did run, that He would redeem us by His Son. By His Son.
Off on the very last quaver of that bar, please. Let's take the same place, sopranos and altos, please. 1 and 2 and.
Thus we rise to endless woes, till God the Lord did interpose, and so a promise soon did run, that He would redeem us by His Son. By His Son.
Lovely. Everybody, please. 1 and 2 and.
Thus we rise to endless woes, till God the Lord did interpose, and so a promise soon did run, that He would redeem us by His Son. By His Son.
Fantastic. So for this section, we just need to move on to after G there and more closed lips. Yes, let's start with the bass and tenors. Bass and tenors. Actually, let's do the basses for this one. And 1. Sustained. And in the next bar, diminuendo. Let's have the tenor line, please. And 1. Have the alto line, which is could easily, tenors, I could see you perhaps coming in a little early because of the similarities between these two lines. So we're going to do the alto line and then put the two together. So here's the alto line. 2, 3. Altos and tenors, please. 2, 3. So all around you, you're hearing the same scale happening. It starts a bit earlier in the basses, but then the tenors and altos, I think in particular, you're just so close together, and there's so many similarities, and you often arrive at the same note, but then go in slightly different ways. It's really important, tenors and altos, that you really know the other person's line there. Let's take the soprano line. And 1. Okay, let's take everybody, please, from the bass entrance there. And 1, 2. Altos, tenors. Lovely. Okay, let's try that from the beginning to that point, and then I'm conscious of the time because I'd really like us to sing some of the Baby in an Ox's Stall as well tonight before we, and so next week we'll continue on with this. Can we go from the first page? Let's go from A, the truth of God. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Don't need me for that, do you? And.
Truth of God, the God of love, therefore don't turn me from your door, but hearken all both me.
Super. Okay, let's have a little look at Baby in an Ox's Stall. Let's remind ourselves of this, shall we? Let's have a little. Was lovely, and I'm going to stop you there. I'm sorry, because I just remembered that I promised these people out there that I'd give them enough time to find their music.
That was the interlude.
They had the
That was the interlude.
Yeah.
So that was your interlude to find your music, because I just thought we're not going to have enough time to look at this very much, so we'll get to sing this and then sing the previous one. So now you've found your music, hopefully during that beautiful interlude. Let's start from the top. Hopefully you've all got your music up ready.
How does this go again?
From the top.
To
lovely carol that is. I think we should finish the evening by singing I Heard the Bells from the top, all the way through, having put all that work in. Give you a moment to find your parts. Thank you for joining us tonight, Bob.
Thank you for having me.
Shame it's only 1 week.
I
So
know.
next time, after Christmas,
Next
we'll
time.
find something else.
Brilliant. I'm here.
Good.
Yeah, aren't we all?
I'm not letting them out, basically. We'll have double glazing by then.
Oh.
By the summer. Okay, got your music? Okay, 2 beats in. And a little bit faster.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their awful little carols play, and wild and sweet the words in it of peace on earth, goodwill to men, and thought, how has the day had come, the birthdays of all Christendom, and rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men, till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day. A child song, but peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then from each black accursed mouth, the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. It was as if an earthquake rent the hearts of the continent, and they forlorn the households all. Peace on earth, goodwill to peace on earth, goodwill to peace on earth, goodwill to men, goodwill to For hate is strong and love's a song, peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then give the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he fall his sleep. The dawn shall veil the night prevail, with peace on earth, with peace on earth, goodwill to men.
What a fabulous way to end the evening. Thank you to my wonderful colleagues here for some beautiful singing. I've got lovely goosebumps, I'm sure you have out there. Please, just a reminder, do sign up for our newsletter on the core website so we can tell you about these concerts that are taking place in December. This concert, the Christmas Fantasia, where we'll be singing The music that we're looking at in this workshop will be on the 21st of December. You can buy tickets for that if you want to attend in person from the St. John Smith Square website, and if you sign up, we will to our mailing list, we will send you information about the live stream. But that's enough for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to welcoming you to our next workshop, and in the meantime,